What's up, everybody?
Sup?
So, I've got special guest Adriana here from Balance with Adriana on Instagram. Balance Sports and Massage Sport. I butcher that every time.
You butchered it.
Why don't you tell us where you're from, Adriana?
So my actual business name is Balance Sports and Remedial Massage Clinic.
Okay.
But that seems so long to put in an Instagram, so I was like, just Balance with Adriana. So
Yeah.
we'll just leave it at that. It's Adriana, and I love balance in my life. I do a lot of handstands, gymnastics, as you know. I come here and I do Pilates and strength training every once in a while.
Sometimes a bit of strength.
Yeah, when you kind of drag me along to do it. But yes, I do love the balance of strength training, recovery, looking after yourself, everything in conjunction with each other.
And a remedial massage therapist.
Yes.
So you help people with obviously remedial therapy, remedial massage therapy. Tell us a bit more about like day to day. Who are you working with? Who are you seeing? What are you guys working on?
When I first started over 8 years ago now, it was so many office workers. I was in Red Hill. I was just doing, people coming home from the city, working till late nights, and it was definitely fulfilling helping those people, but I'm such an athletic person. I want people working towards goals in the fitness industry. So I've slowly transitioned to sporting teams, helping out with individual athletes, boxers, runners, marathon runners, triathletes, gymnasts, lots of dancers. And yourself. Lots of powerlifters, bodybuilders, and I'm currently helping out with the Brisbane Lions. So AFL athletes, they're interesting.
Yeah. I know a lot of our community members that have had niggles and aches and pains and have needed some hands-on therapy.
Yes.
You've done a great job of looking after them, so thank you. Yeah. No,
thank you for the referral.
No, thank you. And the feedback is always the same. They always come back and go, "Oh my God, I feel so much better." What I appreciate about Adriana is it's not just make you feel good massage or watered down stuff. Adriana really takes the time to get to know what I'm dealing with, asks me how I'm feeling, and then the feedback is it's performance based. It's like, okay, like this is a bit stiff here, let's work on this today. Let's not worry about like everything under the sun. We should prioritize 1, 2, and maybe 3. And then
start small. Start small and make it so it seems doable. I think when you go too hard, people kind of just want to throw in the towel and they're like, okay, see you never. They might come for that once off and then you give them too much to do, maybe recovery-wise at home, or going into the gym and give them a certain amount of exercises to do, and they might do it for a day or two and then they'll kind of be like, no, this is too much on top of what I'm already doing, and then when it comes to 8 to 9 hours of work a day as well, I want to make it doable, and I want people to be able to come back to me and say I have progressed in this or I've done that. And that's where I use a lot of exercise physiologists a lot, because half the time people are so sedentary in their lifestyle, it's just getting them to move that's the issue. They'll kind of come to me and they'll be like, oh, I've done so much yoga stuff at home, or I've done stretching and this and that, and they've got no sort of muscle strength in their shoulders, and they're sitting in the same sort of position for 8 to 9 hours, and it's good to get them moving and for me to refer on to someone like you or a PT, and just kind of, I'd say I have a bit of a no bullshit approach. I'm like, this is what you need, or you're gonna keep coming to me monthly going, why haven't I improved? I've been coming to you for you to fix me. Why am I still feeling sore in the shoulders? Why am I still getting tension headaches? And it's not about what I'm doing, it's more about what they're not doing and it's not moving. So we need to get people moving more, and I'm a huge advocate for that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's one of the biggest killers in Australia, sadly, is a lack of movement, because I meet so many members of the community that are so sedentary. Like they wake up in the morning, they sit down, have coffee, have breakfast, catch up on the news, read the paper.
Yeah.
They sit in their car on the way to work. They come to work, they sit down, they work for 8 to 10 hours. They come home, they're so tired, they sit on the couch.
I couldn't do that.
Maybe sit down and have dinner. Yeah, it's full on. And then they go to bed. Yeah. It's like, whoa, you've
and
just
then they're curled up in a ball in bed.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you're just constantly this tight little ball that just does nothing.
Yeah. So let's do some hypotheticals. Say you've just met a member of the community that is sadly one of these, or unfortunately, one of these sedentary individuals that hasn't yet embarked on their health and fitness journey, and they're sedentary, and they come in and they're, what are they presenting with, and what are you seeing in your rooms? Usually,
it's the same sort of thing. It's tension headaches. It is the roundness and the shoulders pulling forward. It is slightly sort of kyphotic, sort of upper back. Precisely this sort of position. And look, what I'm doing now, we're naturally at
a terrible example.
Everything's contracted, and everything's just in this position, and not having that stimulation and fluidity through the upper back. That's what we want to create. So we'll do a lot of just range of motion work first. So we'll always test how the spine is moving, where it's restricted, if it's in flexion, extension, rotation. How often does someone reach their arms above their head? For example, if you are sitting at a table for so long, or at a desk typing away, how often do they move their arms above their head? And this tissue just doesn't have that new blood flow. So we want to pretty much go through the upper back. Usually I like to start off quite light, which I know a lot of people don't like. They're like, I love firm, hard pressure, and then you get into it and they're automatically protect mode, stiff, not breathing. And also they don't know me. So it's really hard to break through that trust barrier and just be like, okay, I need you to breathe. I need you to relax. I need you to feel like you're butter melting into a fry pan. I say this quite often to you. At least at the start. Now you're getting better.
Relax, settle down.
It's
Stop
just settling.
Muscling through it.
Exactly. It's kind of like you want to be not in that fight or flight stage. You want to be like you're about to go to sleep on the table. So we'll go through the spine, we'll go through certain parts of the shoulders, and then what's more important is working through the front. So working through the pecs, working through the diaphragm, helping create a bit of a larger capacity of breath, and working through a lot of the neck muscles like the SCM. Because of all that leaning forward over a computer, this can shorten, and then everything on the back can start to lengthen, and that's when we want to create a little bit, more movement through here for the spine and the neck to sit back a little bit more naturally.
I know from an exercise physiology point of view, when I'm coaching individuals like that in the gym, say somebody comes in with that kyphotic posture and they're rounded from a lot of work, instead of what's worked well for me over the last 2 or 3 years, really, instead of cueing them to really focus on retraction this way, I'll encourage them to pretend that there's a piece of string on the top of their head and they're being being lengthened this way. Since I've started experimenting with that cue, I'm getting a lot better results.
More results?
Heaps more. Because now I see them on their phones, and then instead of going this way, I see them start to lift their phones up. Or if they're standing with me on the gym floor, I start to see that nice lengthening of the spine.
And sometimes just giving different cues can help different people.
Yeah.
You might say one thing and it will completely click with them, and then you give another cue to someone else and it just will not work. So yeah, you got to kind of play around with your cues, and someone will be like, oh yeah, lifting up through the spine, and then another person will be like, oh no, I will feel more so from doing shoulders back. So yeah, it is nice to kind of see what works for one person and if it works for another.
Yeah. I think from my end, my advice would be, if we're seated, that lengthening works quite nicely. I know off air we were chatting about a traffic light, and every time if we're driving and if the light turns red, it's a good reminder for us to sort of take our butt back, lengthen, feel the headrest. Be mindful of our posture for the length of the red light, and then when it goes green, just keep driving.
Just keep driving. No, it is a very good cue. Especially the people who are driving a lot in their jobs, because there are so many jobs where people are driving
and sitting,
and they're sitting for long periods of time, and you want to kind of help them out with that and go, all right, well, if that's what you're doing, it's going to be hard to pull over, stop and stand up and stretch and move about. So what can we do while you're sitting in the car? It's drawing your chin back and drawing your shoulders back and lifting up through the spine when that red light comes in, and it's just checking yourself constantly. Because it's amazing. A few seconds later you could just be like this, and then you get to the next traffic light and you're like, oh gosh.
I think as my career as an exercise physiologist has progressed, I've learnt that it's way more important than I first thought at the beginning of my career. We're in the gym for maybe 1-2 hours a day, but it's all of the things outside of the gym that make a difference. How we sit, how we stand, how we sleep, what our movement patterns are when we're on the couch, when we're having dinner, when we're catching up with a mate, and like leaning or loading up on one hip as opposed to even distribution through the feet. Other tips that work for a lot of our members is when we're standing to make sure that we've got good connection with the floor, the ground with our feet, even distribution through both legs, and I find that transfers up to the spine, and it helps them up top as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
My question for you is, it sounds like we're talking neck and upper spine with this one. So this person's walked into your rooms, you've done your treatment. What's your advice? What's your take-home advice for members of the community like this?
Like that.
Yeah, and it could be just general advice, or it could be maybe we give them some triggering or some movement things, and I'm happy to be a dummy if you need me to be.
For sure. First of all, a lot of people do come to me and they'll say, I've just started with a stand-up desk.
Okay.
Just to help stopping, the closed hips and all that sort of stuff. So they'll stand up, and it's great having a stand-up desk for sure, but doing anything for too long for a period of time is going to be detrimental to your body. So standing out for 8 hours a day isn't as good as sitting down for 8 hours a day. So if you've got a stand-up desk, definitely move it up and down.
Okay.
Take an hour to sit, take an hour to stand, and then rotate through that. Have a timer set on your computer where you can get up and move around and change positions. Really, really good one is going between a door frame to help stretch and open up through the pecs. And I feel like any office space has a lot of door frames.
Arms up on the door frame?
Arms up on the door frame, really simple. Elbow at height of the shoulder, and feet back a little bit, and you just lean forward, and that will help stretch pec major muscle. Having arms up higher will stretch the pec minor. Having your arms lower, relaxing through the shoulder blade. Armpits feel like they're flaring forward. You'll get more of that subclavius down the arm. And that's just a really nice sort of opening up through the chest stretch, just to counteract all this closed shoulder work. Another one would just be spinal movements, just rounding forward, arching, rotation, dropping from side to side. You can do that seated and standing. Very easy, right next to your desk. Other than that, get in the gym.
Strengthen up?
Get in the gym, strengthen up. Yeah, that's going to be your best bet. Sometimes mobility isn't the issue for people. Sometimes strengthening is what's lacking in their department.
I find a lot of the time it's a bit of both. It's mobilizing, freeing the body up, increasing the range of motion, and then strengthening that, reinforcing it with good strength exercises in the gym.
Yeah, definitely.
So Adriana says, if you've got a stand-up desk, go up and down, move it. Don't just be standing the whole time. Don't just be sitting all the time. Use the buttons. Set reminders.
Yeah, set reminders. Every couple of hours or every hour, depending on how stiff you're feeling.
Yeah. Open up. Use a door frame, or sometimes I even use a wall or a rig, piece of equipment just to hang off it.
I guess you're quite limited when it comes to an office space, but door frame, pec stretches, moving your desk up and down, going for a walk, and
why is going for a walk good?
Going for a walk, it just get the blood pumping, and it's not only that, it's I think a good thing for your mental state as well.
Switches everything on, like glutes are on.
Precisely.
Yeah, everything's just wakes us up a bit.
Just wakes us up.
Great for our mental state, because sometimes just tapping away and sitting for prolonged periods of time, we're not really in the right mindset to be worrying about our posture. We're too caught up in the work or grinding through whatever we have to get through. But then when we go for a walk, we come back and then often we sit down a bit fresher. I find that.
For sure. And it allows you a moment to think about what it is that you might need to do next. You can kind of just take that time for yourself to switch off, get away from the computer, and think about what it is that you want to be doing in regards to work or when you get home. But it's a chance to get the blood pumping and moving. Yeah. That's the main thing. Just get yourself moving.
Get yourself moving.
Just get yourself moving. That's it.
That's it.
Fist pump.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please let us know your thoughts below. If you have any questions, drop them. Subscribe. Find Adriana.
Find Spat.
On Adriana's details are down below. And you often post some good things on your Instagram about what you get up to with cupping and mobility and all of the things.
Yeah, usually I'll do lots of photo work with cupping.
Yeah.
I don't always describe what I'm doing, but I put it up there just to kind of remind people that, cupping is out there and it's available. Yeah. Recovery is really important, and we just want to promote that as much as possible. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. See ya.
Thank you.